Welcome everybody.
So today Alberto is going to show us how to make a nice paella, because he's very good on it.
Hello, I'm Alberto. Today we'll be making a version of the paella. To start with, paella is the name of this flat polished steel pan, but it's also the name of most of the short grain rice recipes that are cooked in this pan or in any flat. Paella is a dish in which the meat and the vegetables are cooked together with the rice in a very specific way. And the choice of ingredients changes a lot. You can use different ingredients, and it's a very local recipe from the areas in the east of Spain, particularly the Valencian community and some other neighborhood areas. Paella is a very controversial topic because people is very proud about it, particularly people from Valencia. So today we'll be making a version of the traditional paella from the city of Valencia. We won't be making the proper recipe because we are in the UK and it's difficult to get all the ingredients and it's difficult to get all the tools you need to make the proper version, which would be cooked outside with wood. So we'll be making a version that works and it's nice, but it's not the original one, the proper one.
Well,
but it will be
more
good.
Or less the proper one. It's like
yeah, will be
there.
Yeah.
Really there. Which ingredients do we need, Alberto?
Okay, to cook the paella, the main meat of this paella is going to be chicken. The traditional version would also use rabbit, but it's difficult to get in the UK, so we will only use chicken. As a vegetables, we'll have runner beans and butter beans. And also other ingredients that we will use: grated tomato, obviously extra virgin olive oil, important. Short grain rice for paella. Never use long grain rice or basmati rice. They are nice rices, but they don't fit with paella at all.
Sometimes they say paella rice. On the back there is a recipe.
Never read that recipe.
They put like chicken and chorizo paella.
Never read that
chorizo,
recipe.
So don't use chorizo, please.
Yeah. And as a seasoning, we will use smoked paprika. Important, smoked paprika. We are using a good Spanish smoked paprika. Obviously salt, saffron. We are using some saffron. In Spain, some people use this food coloring, but it's difficult to find it in the UK, so you can stick to saffron. Fresh rosemary. Also, we will make a stock to boil the rice in. This stock will be made of the carcass of the chicken and also some vegetables, onion, carrot, celery and leek. But that's just for the stock. We'll do it on a side. It's not part of the paella. Okay, let's start.
Let's start to it. So now we are going to chop the chicken. You can check my video how to cook a whole chicken, so you can see how to do it. So after washing them, we are going to chop them. So we take out a bit this, and then we chop them, more or less in this size.
Now we're gonna grate half a tomato. If the tomato was smaller, we would grate the whole of it. So we're gonna make a basic chicken stock to cook the rice in. Add some olive oil to a pan. We will add the vegetables and we'll saute them for like a minute. We add some salt. I'd say quite a lot because it's gonna be a large stock. And now we add the carcass of the chicken and also all the unwanted parts of the chicken. Instead of getting rid of them in the bin, we'll just add them to the stock, especially the skin, which has quite a lot of fat. We'll saute it for a couple of minutes. We will add the water. We will add a bit more until this level here, more or less. Since we're gonna cook for 6 people, it's gonna be 3 mugs of rice and 6 mugs of water. Now we let it cook for an hour and we can cook the paella on a side. So now we're gonna start with the paella. We are using this large pan, built in Valencia actually, but if you don't have it, you can use any white pan. The idea is that the rice has to be very spread, so this will be for 5 people, but if you use a smaller pan, just will be for less people. Let's start by adding a decent amount of olive oil, because it's the main fat of the dish. We want it to be rich. We wait a bit until it gets hot. Now in this step we could add some garlic. I like it, some people don't. We would only just add a couple of cloves of garlic, fry them a bit in the oil and then put them apart in a side, and they would flavor the oil and give a nice extra flavor. So now we're gonna start by adding the chicken. So now, once the chicken is in the pan, we don't want to mess with it too much. We don't want to move it too much because otherwise it would release a lot of liquid. And we don't want that. We want it to properly brown because all of these brown colors, all of these golden colors are gonna turn into flavor later. So now all the chicken bits and chicken cuts are properly golden brown, which is nice. And we're gonna go to the next steps. I'm gonna move the pieces outside, put them far away from the heat. But if your pan was smaller, I would suggest to take them out of the pan and just leave the oil in it. And now we are gonna add the runner beans. Cook them for about 5-10 minutes at high heat until they are also brown. Okay, so now you can see that the runner beans are properly brown, so they are done. We're gonna do a critical step now, adding the smoked paprika. So we want to cook it a bit, that's why we turn down the heat for like a minute. And we want to cook it for a few seconds, but not too long because it's very easy to burn it. So just be very careful with this. We'll add 2 medium spoons of paprika, and now we're gonna cook it for a few seconds at not high heat. And we've got the grated tomato here in the other hand, because after cooking it for a few seconds, but before burning it, we add the tomato. Now that will prevent the paprika to burn because there is a lot of water. And now we can cook this tomato, paprika and beans for a while. We can turn the heat on again. And we'll be cooking this for like 2-3 minutes. At some point we will put the chicken back into the mixture. So after cooking this for like 2-3 minutes, we can put everything together. And also we can add the butter beans. Okay, so now the stock is ready. It's been boiling for an hour. We've used a colander to get rid of all the pieces of chicken and some vegetables. We have checked that the amount of salt is the right one. And this is 6 mugs of stock. Why 6? Because we're going to cook for 6 people. So we'll be using 3 mugs of rice, a normal mug, this size. And we'll always need the double amount of stock than rice. So in this case, 3 mugs of rice, 6 mugs of stock. We add the saffron to the stock, so it will start turning yellow. Some people roast the saffron first. We are not doing it here, but you could roast it a bit in the dry pan. Now, stock is ready. All the ingredients are ready, so we're gonna add the 3 mugs of rice. There is another version in which we would have put water first and let it boil for a while to create a stock in the same pan. But since it's a bit more complicated, we are doing the stock separately and then adding it. We cook the rice in the oil for a bit, and then we're gonna spread it. We're gonna make it as flat as possible and kind of make it use all the space available. We're gonna turn the heat to the maximum power.
It smells really nice.
Yeah, it's great. It gets hot again. What we're gonna do is spread it, stir, make sure that the rice is evenly distributed all over the pan, same with the vegetables and the chicken. Once we've done that, we don't move it. We won't stir the rice at all from now. If you stir the rice, you're gonna make it release all the starch and it's gonna become creamy. And we don't want that in our paella. Paella is a dish in which the rice is very loose. We will add the rosemary, the fresh rosemary. We can check the amount of salt. We want it to be a bit salty. Okay, so now we make sure that all the grains of rice are in the stock. And we're gonna keep cooking it at high heat for maybe 2-3 minutes. This is looking good. At some point, if necessary, we could move a bit of the rice to areas with less stock, but always being careful with not to stir the paella itself, because that would ruin the texture. And we will keep cooking at medium-low temperature until the all the water is either absorbed by the rice or evaporate. Okay, so this has been simmering for around 15 minutes already. So we can see that all the water, all the stock has evaporated already, or it's been absorbed by the rice. So now we're gonna do the key step. We're gonna turn the heat to the maximum power, and we're gonna cook it like that for around 1 minute. By doing this, we will achieve a layer of roasted rice in the very bottom of the pan. This part will be the nicest, it will be the tastiest, and it has a name in Valencian language. It's called Socarrat, and it's the most appreciated part of the paella. But it's a bit difficult to do it, so we have to increase the temperature quite a lot and do it for just a minute, because otherwise we will burn it completely, and we don't want that. We just want it a bit burnt. So now, to check if the bottom is roasting, we can try to move the rice a bit and see if it slides or not. If it doesn't, it started sticking, so it's roasting and it's good. So now we've got one step left. We're gonna let it rest for about 10 minutes, but we're gonna cover it first with thin foil, so it will finish cooking with the steam that there is still in the pan. That's gonna make it taste much better, so I strongly recommend to do this step. Traditionally, some people have been using newspaper or wet cloth to cover it as well, but I prefer to do it with thin foil. Okay, so now the paella is ready. We put the rosemary aside and we're gonna serve it, trying that everyone gets a bit of everywhere in the paella. You like it?
It's very lovely, yeah.
It's good.
Well, thank you very much, Alberto, for showing us how to make this lovely paella.
No problem, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
It's in the can!